So tell me, Eric, do you have anything interesting for this episode's installment of the Streaming Wars?
I do. I have two articles, and I'm going to start here because we've talked about this before. This is a Verge article, and it's talking about YouTube's role in the streaming wars, which you don't get a lot of coverage of YouTube's role in the streaming wars because everyone's focused on Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO Max, Peacock, and so a lot of times YouTube ends up being kind of like under the radar. But to me, YouTube is very important, and they are a big front on in the streaming wars. And this Verge article, which is a little bit older, this is dated February 13th. It says YouTube is the front runner in the mobile streaming wars, and it's not even close. It's not even close. It says here's a fun number to think about in 2019. YouTube dominated 70% of the total time people spent on their phones watching the top 5 entertainment apps. It's also the only one of those apps measured among Android phones, which dominate 75% of phone usage worldwide, that isn't specific to China, an area where Google doesn't even operate. The data from App Annie's latest report shows just how far ahead YouTube is on the mobile front, where more people are spending their time, especially teenagers and young adults. It's something that companies like Netflix, Warner Media, NBC Universal, and Disney will have to take into account as they compete not only for the best content, but for people's attention. And I think that's pretty striking, the number, how YouTube is dominating when it comes to watching something on your phone. Because like they said, a lot of younger people, that's how they watch their media. They watch on their phone, which I don't understand because I like to watch it on my TV. I use my PlayStation 4 for most of my streaming, even YouTube a lot. The only thing I don't like on using my PlayStation 4 for streaming or streaming like YouTube is because you can't comment with the PlayStation 4 app. So I have to break out my computer or my phone if I want to make comments on YouTube videos. But it's interesting to me that YouTube is such a dominant player, and you just have to remember that YouTube is mostly creator-owned content. It's content from the masses, and the fact that they have such an edge over these other services that are spending billions of dollars. Netflix is going in billions of dollars in debt trying to create more content, and YouTube has this gold mine of people that are basically just like you and me, Dave. And YouTube
creating content for free.
Right. But that amount of market share is amazing.
It's interesting
because most of the people that watch it have short attention spans. The lengths of the videos are about 2 to 3 minutes, and they do have all the funny cat videos.
The funny cat videos.
Do you enjoy the funny cat videos, Dr. Strange?
Yes, I do.
Well, I'll say when it comes to like young people, because I didn't even talk about children, but my kids, they love watching programs on YouTube. And most of the programs that they watch have to do with things like unboxings and even just families going to like Disneyland or stuff like that. They eat it up. They love that stuff. They love it. They're looking for that stuff more than any other kind of content.
It's rather peculiar. It's like I've noticed that with the younger generation as well, that they would rather watch people play video games than play video games themselves.
Correct.
Which I think is on the verge of idiocy.
Well, it's absolutely the way it is. That's absolutely true because I have a pretty substantial video game collection. In fact, I'd actually like to talk about video games more on this program. But because we are on Twitch, we're on Twitch right now. You know what I mean? And I would like to try to reach out to that audience more. And the thing is, I get games from my kids all the time, and they'll play them. They'll play them for a little bit, but they spend more time, just like what you said. They spend more time actually watching YouTube videos of other people playing games than actually playing games. It's crazy.
Well, I mean,
it's crazy.
It makes sense on the point of that people are trying to get better and looking for different strategies and everything like that. A lot of people are watching it just for the certain streamer, like that guy that I had no idea who it was until they just started shoving his name in my face from every avenue. Ninja. I didn't know who he was. It's like, who is this? And then all of a sudden, oh, he's a streamer from Twitch. I'm like, why do I care?
You know what's amazing to me too with Twitch is, I've tried to go on there to just look at content and what's popular, like what's recommended, and I'll watch and I'm like, why does anybody like this? You know what I mean? And this guy's got like, thousands of views, and I'm just kind of sitting there like, I don't get it. So I got to figure it out. That's something you and I have to figure out too, Dave. Is the best Twitch angle? You know what I mean? Because it's if you go on Twitch and you watch some of those videos, you're going to be kind of scratching your head. I think. Like, why are people into this? There's an audience. That's my point. An audience.
Well,
there
I'm not
to
the
be
best
had.
person to ask because I'm very old-fashioned and I don't get what these younglings are doing. Wait, I probably shouldn't say younglings. Anakin may be hiding somewhere.
Yeah.
That's true. And he
But it's
does
also
like to
funny.
kill younglings.
There's people that are killing it on YouTube right now, and even with game content, that can't break into Twitch. Their Twitch channels are like nothing. Like they have, for instance, Metal Jesus. He's somebody who does a lot of reviews of games, a lot of new games, mostly older games, very retro type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And his Twitch account is like a couple hundred people or something like that, and he's got like hundreds of thousands of subscribers on YouTube. So there's something weird about that too. There's something interesting about that too.
Different age demographics, more than likely.
Yeah, that's good. I was just about to say the same thing. That's strange. More than likely, that's probably what it is. It's the age of the different demographics on the various platforms, and there is sometimes some duplication. When you follow someone on a bunch of different platforms or too many or a couple of platforms, go, I don't need to know what this person's doing over here. So I'm fine. I'm fine following them on this. I'm not going to also follow them on this. That just seems a bit extreme. Although much of the world today is about extremes. So there you go.
No,
I don't know.
I see it with Twitter too, because I usually try to, because actually I can get much more engagement on Twitter with the content creator than I can on YouTube. The reason for that is the YouTube, they might have like 100,000 subscribers. Their Twitter is like a couple thousand, you know what I mean?
Right.
Followers, and that's it. So they're much more accessible on Twitter than they are on YouTube.
Yeah. I don't know. We're trying some different things here on the show, and we're going to continue to experiment with the format and the different ways that the show hopefully reaches out to people, hopefully connects with people, and brings people kind of into the fold. Hopefully to talk about these topics that we talk about, such as the streaming wars and pop culture news, and our later topic here. So who knows? Who knows? I mean, other than I think Dr. Strange is right. I think age demographics on the various platforms does play a big factor, because it would make sense that an older viewer would be more interested to watch some of the retro game stuff. But then there are some segments of the younger, the kids that enjoy the retro gaming too. So
my kids do. My kids like old games, yeah.
So it might even be like a generational, at some point, switch, and the platforms might even flip a little bit over time. So I'd be curious to see kind of how it all bears out. So
yeah, me too. Absolutely.